Hi folks, the title of the video isn't clickbait, okay? The reason why I'm making this is because about 2 weeks ago I got into an accident on my bicycle where I was out on Saturday morning and I turned on some black ice. Thankfully I wasn't on a road, I was on a cycle path. But I turned on some black ice, stupidly, because I've rode on ice lots. I know my way, but a moment lapse of concentration and my front wheel lost its grip and the bike just threw me to the ground really fast. So my whole right side of my body just collided with the tarmac and my shoulder got the worst of it here, my right shoulder. Although my hip is kind of swollen here as well. I had a bruise that was about 1 foot long along the side of my thigh, and I had another one. It wasn't really a bruise, but I'm going to show you a photograph of it. It's kind of gone now. You can just see a little bit of the bruising here. This isn't bruising. I don't know if you can really see that. There's been some internal bleeding up here where the fractures are, and well, I'll show you the photograph. What you're looking at there is 2 days after the accident. I didn't go to the hospital immediately because I didn't think I had damaged myself all that severely, even though I couldn't really move my shoulder joint much. But you're looking at blood which has drifted down due to gravity, and it's now basically lying there pooled in the tissues of my skin, and the skin is all swollen up as a result. Thankfully that's cleared up now, but that was what worried me, because it was getting worse rather than better, and that's what led me to go to the hospital 2 days after the accident, where they gave me an x-ray, and there's a minor fracture in my elbow which doesn't need surgery, but I have at least three fractures up here that do require surgery. It's the actual ball and the socket of the shoulder here. See the way I can do that there? Well, on this side, that's all the movement I got, and this is now 2 weeks later. So I'm not in great shape, folks. I don't know whether I will be able to make a full recovery. I think I'll be okay, according to the doctor. I'll be able to ride a bicycle again and everything. But he indicated that he put both arms above his head like this. I can only do it with one. He says the days of you doing that are over. So we'll see anyway. I can live with it. One moment lapse of concentration and your whole life has changed. So I'm okay, folks. I'm okay. But I'm on the mend. Weirdly, I'm not in a huge amount of pain, only when I try to move it, and the pain gets less every day. It was absolute agony the first day, and I think I got almost no sleep that night. But I was okay to touch it, and even on the first day I could touch this and it wasn't causing me any real pain. I just couldn't move it. Still can't. Anyway, so this whole thing about prayer, why am I asking for prayer? Isn't that the sort of thing that a Christian would do? Am I making a return to Christianity here? No, nothing has changed. Nor am I trying to hedge my bets just in case Christianity's true. Let's just get God on your side just in case. No. This isn't something I've talked about much, but my worldview as it stands does accommodate prayer. I guess where I've really went into this in more detail is in the chapter Magic and Science in my book iUniverse, where I get into my occult studies and come up with what I consider to be a very rational theory of magic. And I don't see a huge amount of difference between prayer and magic. It's really all to do with the throwing of one's will outward from oneself, whether that's to God, to one's higher self, to the universe, to whatever you recognize as being beyond your limited individuated consciousness. You know, if you have that belief in a higher power, prayer is valid. And looking back to my Christian experience, I don't invalidate the prayers that I uttered when they were genuine, heartfelt prayers. And although it's hard to prove it scientifically, it did seem that there was an effect at times. So, I have no qualms whatsoever asking you folks to pray for me, to pray for my healing, in whatever way you recognize a higher power. The most effective prayers, I think, are the ones that are backed up either with strong emotion or with a deep meditative type state where the mind is quieted down. That seems to be how we get a message through to the great beyond, as it were. So if you feel a sense of caring towards me, I will be very grateful if you pray for me or meditate about me in whatever way you choose. There have been studies done of mass meditators and how that has had an effect on things like accidents and violence in cities. You can look these things up online. Dean Radin has talked about them in his books. It's making me realize that I wish I had prioritized meditation more in my life. I haven't done so. Yeah. The accident has kind of also had a curious effect on me psychologically. Because it was, almost a brush with mortality. When my body was slapped into the ground, my head was that close to taking the impact. And in fact, a couple of pedestrians who saw it happening and who came over, they thought I had hit my head, but I hadn't hit it at all. But there had to have been maybe less than a centimetre in it. And the last thing I need is a fractured skull. To me, my brain is the most important part of my body, really. I would hate to have my thinking compromised. My dad had a fractured skull through a bicycle accident around age 50-something, and it was a pretty serious accident involving a car. So he had several things: punctured lung, fractured skull, broken leg, and he retired as a result of it. And I don't think his mind was ever really the same after that. I think he struggled in terms of his thoughts and his ability to think in a complex way. So that would have been disastrous for me personally, because I'm so intellectually orientated. So I'm so glad that didn't happen. So it could have been a lot worse. So I count my blessings. I don't think things like these are premeditated. I can see myself growing as a result of this. I've been kind of reevaluating things in my life somewhat. And it kind of makes you think, oh, maybe this is all for a reason. But while I'm tempted to believe that, I also have to bear in mind that there are the most horrible, horrible things happening to the most innocent of us. That still occurs, People are killed and tortured. Sex slavery is a thing, So I really resist the view that when things happen to me, it's for a reason, It has really made me sort of evaluate the moral character of my life as well. Thinking that, okay, you could have died there, Darrell. And, are you happy with the kind of person you are? Not that there is a God keeping score as such, but are you happy with the kind of life you've lived? And I'm not really. I'm not. I kind of have this real urge to get back to some kind of sense of innocence. And I've had it at times. I had it most prominently right back at the start of this whole non-duality caper back in 2008 when it was all fresh and new. I had a real sense of innocence about me that it ended up becoming poisoned again the way it had been poisoned before that. And I never ever really got the poison out of my system. And I think I just want to get back to that. Because that was me at my happiest in that period. So in a way that's good. Yeah. It has sort of kind of rebooted me a little bit and gave me a kick up the arse that I needed. But again, I don't think it was the universe trying to tell me something. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? We can leave that one as a maybe it was and maybe it wasn't, you know. But ultimately, this is just a little heartfelt video, folks, asking for you to send me good thoughts, send me your prayers, keep me in your meditations if that's what you do. You can think of it as concretely as you want. You can think of it as, you know, in terms of my shoulder right here. This is where I need the healing to occur. Or you can just send vague thoughts of love. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. The time can't go by fast enough. I wake up every morning thinking, okay, this is day 7, and then the next morning, day 8, day 9, and this morning was day 14. So tomorrow morning it will be 2 weeks. It's a funny thing about time. When you're my age, it races by. It really does. And normally I don't like that, but right now I do. And another thing, you know, a thing like this really puts into perspective, you know, petty grievances and stuff like that seem to mean so much. And then you have, you know, you have this experience of your body being compromised, and it just changes the whole focus of your life. Everything else is forgotten, and all you can think about is, I have to get well. I have to get well again. You know? So that's a good thing too, to let go of petty grievances and just be more forgiving in general. Yeah. Okay, folks. That'll do. Thank you. Talk to you later. Take care.
The sky